Hey now, welcome to episode number 35 of the Batman on Film vlog. I am your host and the founder of Batman on Film, Jett Ramey. With me today, as usual, is Rick Shew. Hello, Rick. How are you, sir?
Good morning. I'm doing well, Bill. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm doing all right. No, Rick, don't forget that people who like what we do here on Batman Film, they can help support the site at be a patron via patreon.com/Batman on Film. So there you go with that, So
And all the money goes into the site, and it goes to a good use. So
yes,
we appreciate the support because
okay.
it's not free to do this.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Okay. What else do I want to talk about before we get any? How's the weather up there? Is it cold like it is here? What's the deal, Rick? This has got to been. I mean, this is abnormally cold for Texas this time of year, especially October. October was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll drop a frickin' 95 in October to drop of a hat,
Right.
And there was like none of that.
It's cold. Let's see here. What is the weather right now? I'm in shorts and flip-flops because it takes a lot for me not to be, because I'm weird that way. Where's my weather app, dude? My 7-year-old gets my phone and my apps that either disappear or they're scrambled. I don't want to waste up airtime here looking for my weather app. I would guess it's probably 50-something degrees outside.
A few cooler degrees here. Yes.
I went on a 3-mile walk at 7:30, and I was in a light jacket. But again, I'm hot-blooded though, so I've got a hard judge of that.
Yeah, it's been weird. And how was Thanksgiving?
Good. I mean, Thanksgiving is hectic for me. I mean, it's enjoyable, but I'm dragging my kids between my parents and my in-laws. People come to us on Christmas
Luckily,
Eve.
I go to the Cowboy game every Thanksgiving. That's our tradition, and I usually don't have Thanksgiving until the Saturday afterwards. So
That's right. And I did get to see you that next morning as I drove out to your hotel, even though you sent me to the wrong hotel.
No, that's not true.
You confirmed it on my text message. And then you gave me a great gift that morning.
You got it near you?
I do, but I'm all plugged in here. It's in fact, it's right behind me. It's right. I'm actually pointing at it right now. That's it, right up here.
Okay.
It's the animated series full box set.
Yes, and you're about to get into that, correct?
Absolutely. Tonight's actually the night I can bust it out. My wife's out of town, get the kids to bed, and I can actually watch it.
Okay.
I've been reading a book that I'm doing a podcast with your wife about on a separate thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And,
yeah, check out that documentary is awesome, and the shows look fantastic, and yeah, it's really. I mean, it's worth buying. You can read my review on Batman on Film proper. It's worth getting. Now, a disclaimer: I did get one from Warner Brothers for reviewing purposes, and I appreciate that. I did get Rick's out of my own pocket, so that was not a freebie, Rick. Merry Christmas. Thank you for everything.
It's appreciated, and I want to plug Ryan Haas's review of that too.
It's more detailed. You a little bit more detail and specifics. Yeah, definitely check out Ryan.
Because he breaks down like the packaging, the artwork, everything.
Yeah.
It's very well done.
Yep. All right, we're going to talk some Aquaman, and we're going to talk some Matt Reeves' Batman today.
Sounds good.
We'll save Batman for last, and let's talk about Aquaman, which is about what, Rick? 3 weeks out now, just about.
3 weeks out. Have you gotten a press thing on that yet?
It's going to be on the 17th, I believe. So it's the same outlet. You'll get it.
Okay, cool.
And it'll be 17th. Yeah. So what we're talking about is we'll be able to see Aquaman on the 17th, and we'll get a review up quickly afterwards because it opens up on the 21st of December. God, I wish they would screen that thing a little earlier than that, but it makes a hard deadline for reviews, but whatever. But what we're going to talk about, speaking of reviews, it has screened for some of the press. I guess probably just judging from the people who have reacted on Twitter, it's a lot of your LA-based press
and New York,
and they've allowed social media reaction, and it's been very positive, positive. So
yes,
that's a good sign. That's a good sign.
Yes.
Yeah, the ultimate judge for me will be what I see with my own two eyes and listen with my ears. So
and I try not to be cynical about these early reviews and the reactions, because I don't want to accuse anybody of anything, but oftentimes I feel like a lot of these people, I don't know if they're judging it genuinely, and they're just digging the perks of getting into these shows. So I don't want to accuse anybody specific, but I always just kind of have that fear. There's been a lot of movies that had really good early buzzes and then they weren't good. Not just for my opinion, just general audiences and critics alike. But there are some reputable people that I do trust that have really liked this film, like Paul Shirley, for instance. And I trust that guy's opinion, even if I don't necessarily always agree with him. And so it's exciting for the movie because it is very positive.
Yes.
And there's even some backhanded stuff that people are saying to sort of like offset that it's not just rah rah rah, right? They're saying it has some flaws, but overwhelmingly it's really good. So that's good news.
I want to like it. I'm pulling for it to do well. There's some cynicism in me. I'm cynical about will Justice League, will BVS affect it with the mainstream, the general audience? Will they turn out to see it, or will they just see that oh, that's the dude that was in BVS, that was the guy who was in Justice League. Of course, they didn't see Justice League.
Well, and that's kind of,
so I mean,
that's the flip side of that coin. Yeah. I'm with you. Does it carry some of the negativity and the how do you say
toxicity?
Toxicity from some of the previous films. And what I would say to that is we talk a lot about general audiences and mainstream audiences and how pertinent they are to the success of the film versus people like you and I and other brethren in the geek community, if you will. But it's
my neighbor across the street is more important to a film success, or say a superhero film success, than I am. I mean,
right, absolutely. And your neighbor across the street may have just not even gone to see B versus S or Justice League, and if he did or she did, they just they probably just dismissed it when it was over. And then I don't think that this necessarily carries over. I think this film can stand on its own. And that's if also James Wan treats it that way, which I trust that he probably will. Mm-hmm. That's what it seems like he's doing. So I think it can be fine without the backlash of, especially that it's the first film and it's Aquaman. If it was a more high-profile person, like let's say Ben Affleck as Batman or Henry Cavill as Superman, would those films be affected by the previous films? Maybe. Even if it's unfairly so. But I think Jason Momoa is safe. And I will say this, and I'm not kidding, I think that, like my wife, for instance, and I use her a lot as anecdotal, but she's a perfect person to use because she is the same people that we're talking about. She loves to go see these movies. She doesn't read it. She's never read a comic book. She doesn't know who's directing. She doesn't understand that Zack Snyder started this and he's not directing this, and who Patty Jenkins is. She doesn't, none of that matters to her. Just the lead actors, and is the film good?
Yeah.
And she's like, you're dragging me to this film. You know why? Because of Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm just saying. And she's like, yeah, a lot of ladies at my office, they're all talking about wanting to go see it because I'm like, really? That could be something.
That's good.
That is good.
Yeah.
I mean, we have...
What is this, Magic Mike? Underwater?
No, I just think it just so happens that Wonder Woman is a fantastic movie and everybody does great.
Yeah.
But that movie could probably have been crap, and I'd still go see the sequel just because Cal's in it. So I understand where she's coming from on that. That's all good.
I mean, James Wan, he did one of the Fast and Furious films. He's done the.
I know nothing about his.
Yeah, he does the. Came through horror. He does the.
Some horror films, right?
I'm losing my train of thought.
Yeah, I feel bad that I've really just nothing about his work.
But my point was, is he a big enough? Is he a big enough name as a director to pull people out to see this yet?
I don't know that. Again, I don't think directors matter. I don't think people go see films because of directors. Not most people.
Well, there's a couple. I mean,
Steven Spielberg, yes.
I mean, there's some directors who help sell a movie. You know,
some. But come on, let's face it. There's what, 5? I mean, Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino, Steven Spielberg. You know.
Yeah.
Who else? I don't know.
You think Nolan is there yet?
That's a good one. That's a good question.
I mean, people turned out for Dunkirk.
Yeah.
I mean, they use him in marketing. You know.
I mean, Inception did well. Obviously, the 3 Batman films did very well. Yeah, I think he's probably up there.
Yeah.
And I think Patty Jenkins could be that person as well. You know, but we'll see. We'll see how Wonder Woman 84 turns out. But my point is, I don't think that the guy that directed a Fast and the Furious film necessarily has any bearing on whether or not this film will be successful. It's going to just come down to this: if this thing is good and it needs a good opening weekend for sure, and then it needs to have some legs, obviously. So have some good reviews and be good. Look, I saw the trailer for I want to say for the first time in the theater. I went to see Creed 2.
The new one that just came out here recently. That trailer. Okay.
It's attached to Creed 2.
Yeah.
And the first time I saw Creed was at a press screening, so there were no trailers. So 2 nights ago, I went to see it again, and I saw the Aquaman trailer. Aside from the William Dafoe stuff, I won't get into that now. I'm just not a fan of him at all. But he's distracting to me. But aside from him, it's a beautiful trailer, and people in the theater seem to like be into it. Ooh, ahs, and things of that nature. So
it looks awesome.
Yeah,
it really does. This, like in Justice League, where where Mera and Aquaman, Arthur, they talk, and she has to push the water away so they're actually in some kind of air,
Yes,
but they're not doing that in this movie. It's completely they're underwater. I'd love to know how he pulled that effect off. I mean it's underwater, but they're having dialogue. It's just I'm fascinated by the special effects behind it. So
yeah, somebody, and I think it was somebody from Collider. Forgive me if it's not, whoever that person was, said this thing's like Star Wars underwater. And I was like, well, hell, I'm sold.
Yeah,
I'm already sold.
Yeah, it's that's there. I can see that, and there's a lot of Atlantis and all the the mythology around that.
Sure,
I mean,
there's mythology. There's family drama between two brothers.
It's similar to Wonder Woman with being an Amazon and all that stuff, and the gods.
Yeah, and speaking of that, some of the scenes in the trailer where he's the younger Arthur, probably teenage years, and he's training, very reminiscent of stuff from Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
I mean, it's clearly this is an origin film. So I mean, look, and
it looked like it, felt like it. And that's a good.
Look, I just don't want to go in there, and if they put any Justice League BVS stuff in there, I will be. I just don't want to see it. I just want to see its own damn film. I don't want to see that. No,
I don't either. But again, if it's good, I'll just say it's good, no matter why it's good or how it's good. But I wouldn't prefer that myself. And we'll get into this J.K. Simmons stuff in a moment. But we talked about this with some of the stuff with Shazam. It really does feel like, and we've been saying this for over a year, maybe 2 now, that Matt Reeves' Batman is going to be a reboot. More on that in a moment. And then this Henry Cavill stuff is obviously very questionable. It doesn't seem like he's coming back. So I don't know why they would. Those are the 2 most high-profile characters in the DC properties. Why would you reference those films when those films are not? I'm saying they're not going to carry. They're not going to carry on with those films anyway.
You don't. Why would you reference something that was pretty much a disaster? I mean, combine BVS and Justice League. I mean, you're nearing disaster level. I mean, it was just not received well by the general audience overall, and the fan base was split on it. So why would you want to reference that? I mean, I think Juan's been pretty clear that this is its own thing, and I hope it is, and I hope there's no post-credit scenes and all that other nonsense.
Kind of over post-credit scenes. Period.
Well, you know what? It was a Marvel thing. Why? Why did DC even have to do it? And you can get me started on that one. I don't even want to get started on it, but
I actually like the post-credit scene in Justice League.
It's cool.
Like the best part of the movie.
You getting me? You pulling me back?
No, I don't want to talk about Justice League.
But it wasn't needed. It was ridiculous. Okay.
No, I agree, and it was a BS thing to do to fans in a sense as well.
The Conjuring. That's the films.
I like Jesse as Lex, and so that's one of the reasons I like that scene so much. They've all been downhill since Ferris Bueller, anyway.
Did you watch have you seen either one of the Conjuring films that Juan did?
No.
They're good.
No,
they're good. They're good. They're good. Okay. Let's see. All right. Look, looking forward to Aquaman. We'll be covering that. Rick will see it. I'll see it. We'll definitely have have a written review. I'm sure Joanne Hyde will do a review. She's my longest tenured reviewer here.
Yes.
Batman on Film. Been with me for.
In fact, she can handle it. Yeah, she can run with a written review, and I'll do a video reaction on it.
With over 10 years, I think she's been with Batman on Film doing reviews. Anyway, so we'll do a vlog on it, and I'm sure the boys, the guys, will definitely do a podcast and bring in some other people besides me and Rick. I like other voices.
Oh yeah, we get the Chris Clowes and the Zackies
and
some
other voices.
Paul Herman's on. Yeah, for sure.
I'm loud and obnoxious enough.
Eric, Pete,
in my writing and on these vlogs here. So, all right. So pulling for Aquaman. Hope the early buzz is legit, and I hope it carries over. Have a big weekend. Word of mouth is going to be important, Rick. Word of mouth will be important. Get those legs going, and hopefully it does well, and we get a little Aquaman franchise going here.
Yeah.
Do you even want to mention Shazam? You brought it up about. I mean, we've talked about it. We've talked about it again. I mean, real quick. And I'm looking forward to Shazam.
Me too. It looks great.
Do they almost have to tweak the editing?
I don't know.
I mean,
I'm exhausted thinking about it because it's kind of a mind-numbing thing to me. Because it's like, okay,
make it ambiguous.
Matt Reeves is rebooting Batman, right? That's sure what it looks like. Superman with Henry Cavill, that run may be over. So why would you reference something that's not going to happen again? So I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see soon enough. And that's our next watch party too.
If there really are movie gods, they'll make them movie props just so I can troll.
Just make it ambiguous where it can be either one. You don't even have, if people want it to be that, they can. If they want it to be props, it can be that as well. All right, let's talk about some Batman. This is Batman on Film. All right, J.K. Simmons, of course, was cast and played Commissioner Gordon for like 3.5 seconds in Justice League, and of course, when he signed up for that role, he was expecting to reprise it several times, probably after Justice League in a solo Ben Affleck starring, Ben Affleck directed, Ben Affleck written Batman film. Of course, that's not going to happen because Ben Affleck decided he didn't want to direct or whatever, or he was invited to leave, whatever happened, mutual decision. And it looks like he is no longer going to play Batman because they brought in Matt Reeves, and Matt Reeves wants to do his own thing. It's pretty clear. And so J.K. Simmons, who is one hell of an actor. He's a hell of an actor, Rick.
God, he's good.
He's a hell of an actor.
I started to like him in the Spider-Man franchise, the Sam Raimi stuff. I loved him in a film called Juno.
Yes.
I know that. It's a good film, by the way.
Yes,
And he's great. He's great in it. Plays a great dad.
The one he was up for the Oscar about the drummers? The drummer. I saw it too. I'm having a movie name thing. But anyway, that's fantastic, and he's a real asshole in that movie. So, and he's fantastic in those State Farm commercials. I got to say,
he is.
Yes,
and he seems awfully cool in interviews and stuff. I just dig him. He's a cool dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I said he would have made. I wrote something when I wrote the article for this. I said, it's kind of a bummer. He seems to be a hell of a Commissioner Gordon, and I think someone in the comments said, how could he be? I mean, he was on there for like 5 seconds or whatever, and I was like, because I know because he would be in a hell of a Gordon because he's a fantastic actor. You give me an actor, I can tell you they're going to be good. So,
and look, I'm not a fan of Justice League really, but even that stuff with him in that movie, I liked his interactions. Even some of the stuff with he and Batman was actually good. That was one of the few good things in that film. He would have been great.
Yeah, when they were going for the gray-haired version of Gordon, as opposed to he's now in the comics. He's back to his red hair,
Zack Snyder, if anything, we could debate his films all day long. He knows how to cast a movie, dude. Oh,
he cast well. Yeah,
his eye for talent is extraordinary.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, J.K. Simmons is in the movie The Front Runner, the Gary Hart movie. Rick, you've seen that yet? That's right up your alley. You haven't seen it?
Which one is it? I'm sorry, I lost you.
Front Runner.
No, I never saw The Front Runner. No,
it's out right now. It's the one about the Gary Hart.
Yeah, I know. I just haven't seen it.
Yeah, okay.
I might actually go see a movie tomorrow night because I'm solo.
Okay, he is. Yeah, he's in it. He plays Gary Hart's campaign manager. So they're out on the junket, and Collider, of course, was covering it and asked him about his Jim Gordon Batman on film, DC on film future. And he said this, and I'll read the quote exactly. He said, "Nothing has changed. There are conversations going on that I am not going to make public. As far as I know, there's no opportunity in the immediate future for me to do more Commissioner Gordon, but I continue to be optimistic that it will happen again." And that is the end of his quote. So I wrote about it. My thoughts. What's your thoughts?
I don't think he's coming back as Gordon. I think Matt Reeves is rebooting his Batman.
Yes.
And I think his last comment there that says, "I continue to be optimistic," I think that's more PR.
Yes, and
not because there's nothing about that that's a lie. Because I'd love to come back one day, but
he can't say this, and he couldn't say this. No, it's done. Matt Reeves is rebooting the whole thing, and they've already
recast
the curve. There's going to be a different Gordon. He may know that. He probably does know that. He can't say that. He cannot say that. He just can't. And I'm with you. I think Matt Reeves is doing his own thing completely, and that's just more. That's just a little bit more evidence to show that. And and frankly, that's how it should be. He should have the opportunity to pick whoever he wants to play Gordon, and have Gordon whatever age he wants Gordon to be. Batman, Alfred, all of that. So.
Yep.
That's where I stand. So Rick?
No, I would say that there are some casualties to all of this in terms of the stuff not quite working out and the reboots. I want to reboot as much as anyone humanly possible.
Yeah.
But there's some things that are a bummer. Alfred's great. He could have been great. Even Affleck in BVS was a really good Batman.
I think Cavill is the biggest casualty of them all.
I agree. And really everybody around him, his Amy Adams and Lawrence Fishburne. I almost said Laurence Olivier. Lawrence Fishburne. The whole cast is great. It sucks. That part just sucks. But again, it's just time to shift gears and move on. And let's do some Batman films for a new generation, and one that will transcend through time, just like The Dark Knight will.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, let me plug something we're going to be doing, and plug something I wrote on Batman on Film. If you go to Batman on Film, because we're about to get into here in just about a month and a handful of days. It's going to be the 80th anniversary year of Batman. I mean, all of next year. Look, I don't know about you, Rick, but January till the December of 2019, we're gonna do. It's gonna be all about Batman 80, and we'll at least have something monthly, weekly on Batman on Film for it. So, and I know DC and all that have a lot of plans for it. So, I wrote. And this is tough. It was tough. I wrote, and I did it in chronological order because we're going to actually rank them on a podcast. I did the top 10 most significant moments or things in Batman history, be it movies, comics, animation, video games, whatever. And I did them in chronological order. So if you go to Batman on Film, you can see it. It's in 2 parts. And they are not ranked. They are, like I said, they're in chronological order, and but we're going to rank them in a podcast. And
yes,
I've told the boys. I said I do not want to know what you got. You do your own rankings, and then we'll come together. We'll talk about our top 5, and we'll discuss, and hopefully it'll break out into some good radio, some disagreement.
Well, just on our email thread alone, there was already some good rock and roll radio brewing. So that's why I said stop. Let's save this show, book it. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And we all come from different places of how we were introduced to Batman, how he's been in our lives, and what has impacted us personally the most. So that's going to be a real interesting show. I'm looking forward to it.
It was tough to do because you got to take the emotion out of some things and say what is important. How important was this in terms of Batman's history and its effect? I mean, Rick even said. Rick in the email said, Well, there was three things. I won't say what they were. These are definitely in the top 5. So, I mean, what's the point? I went and I said, okay. I mean, look,
well, I didn't say what's the point. I was saying let's consolidate our list and just talk about the top 5 because I think 3 will overlap.
And I said, I can tell you this: only one of them are in my top 5.
And what I'll say,
and Rick will say those 3 are given. So right then, there's already some.
Actually, what I said was this, and I stand by this. I said one of those could very arguably be taken out. In fact, the more I think about it, I think I am. When I really think about the purpose of this discussion. But the other 2, they have to be there. And so one's only in your list. So right there, you're already you're already wrong, dude.
Maybe the one you want to remove is the one I think is the only one that should be in there. I hope so. That would be fantastic to discuss. So, but it's man, it was tough to come up with. And
I just to troll Justin, I have John Blake on my list.
He should be on there. He's the greatest flopper of all time. Bar none, man. Bar none.
That's. This will be a serious discussion. We troll each other on the Facebook page, on Twitter. It's all on good.
Yeah, I'm serious about this.
But we're gonna make a serious list. I wouldn't obviously put John there.
Yeah. So if you've got, come up with your list and go to the Facebook group and post it there. If you're not a member yet, join up, or just on the comment section, whatever. Email us. Come up with your top 10. There was one the other day, and we'll finish up and get out of here, Rick, on that Facebook group, and I think it was, who put that up there? It was one of the guys that review. I can't exactly remember. It was Ron Lauer. That's who it was, Ron Lauer, and it was like your Batman Mount Rushmore.
Mm-hmm.
Now, think about that one.
Mm-hmm.
4.
That's a fun thread.
4 people. Not characters, 4 people who are involved, creators who are involved in Batman at some point. Who would you put on the Mount Rushmore, Rick?
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking you.
Oh, well, you have to put the creator and the co-creator, right?
I put in mine.
You have to have Finger and Kane.
I had Finger Kane together. Yeah. Bill Finger came up with most of the stuff, but Bob Kane came up with the idea of Batman and. Just got to. I put them together. So that's as one. And I know it's kind of cheating, but I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's several people that put Nolan.
I have Nolan on mine.
Yep. So who all was on yours again?
Mine was...
Because you had... Did you have Tom King? Was that you?
I did not have Tom King.
Maybe that's Justin that has Tom King.
Tom King has not done enough.
Somebody had him.
I would say, from historical point of view... It would be Kane / Finger,
mm-hmm.
one. Nolan,
mm-hmm.
Adam West, and this is one that a lot of people didn't understand, but if you do some research, you will. Julius Schwartz would be on mine.
I'm trying to cheat, but I can't turn enough. I'm going to rip out my headset here.
Julius Schwartz was the editor at DC back in the 60s and 70s, and was instrumental in keeping Batman alive in the 60s and transitioning him out of the campy, silly stuff from the 50s and 60s on into returning him back to his dark roots. I absolutely have to put him on there.
And on that note, and I know it's a little cliche, but where does Frank Miller come into this with you? Because to me, I feel like he revived the character for the masses, and which obviously was sort of the catalyst that led to the inspiration
the Dark Knight Returns.
Batman '89.
Dark Knight Returns is on my top 10 list. It's in my top 10. I'm not tell you where it's ranked yet. It may be in the top 5. I'm not going to say, but it is on that chronological list for that reason you just said. It's not only is it one of the most greatest graphic novels in history, it is also its importance. It's what made people realize that Batman wasn't all zap, pow, and wham. And I love the '60s series, but there was such a there was a lot of baggage with that for a long time. You know, I mean,
Right.
it sounds negative, but you know, it was the shadow it cast over Batman for so long,
Right.
and it's what eventually, yes, I mean, you know, when it came out in 86, it was just, I mean, it was instrumental, you know.
If filmmakers, and it starts with Tim Burton, didn't course correct the mainstream image of Batman, I don't think that show would be revered in the way it is now, because people that know the character would be upset that on a mainstream level he's represented as the TV show.
Absolutely.
Now you can counter it and say,
yes,
well, now from 30,000 feet and the totality of the history of Batman, you can appreciate the show for what it is.
Yes.
And and for making millions of people fans of Batman.
Dark Knight Returns led to Batman '89 happening because it showed the studio that dark and serious Batman can work, and Batman is a viable character as a film.
And also the significance of that show as well is, look what also happened when Tim Burton went too far with Batman Returns. It's like the studio knee-jerked in a sense, and I know you like Batman Forever, but you get into Batman Forever, and particularly Batman and Robin, that stuff's more of a throwback to the show. You know, we went backwards a little bit with that. So
Batman and Robin, clearly they're going for that. Forever, Michael Uslan will say it is a very much of a nod to the 50s version of Batman, and I would tend to agree with him with that. And yes, I do like Batman Forever, but I understand. I think it gets unfairly lopped into, you know, when we complain about what ruined the series, the franchise, or drove it into the ditch. In '97 with Batman and Robin, it gets lopped in with that film as one, but people forget it was a huge hit in 1995. Batman Forever, it was a huge hit. There weren't people bitching and complaining about it, you know.
What do you think of the joke in that film about the Burt Ward Robin vernacular? You know what I'm talking about?
You know what? I'll take it just like in Superman the movie, when Christopher Reeve is Clark Kent. It's when Lois, the helicopter, she's dangling off the Daily Planet building. He comes out of the Daily Planet and he looks up and sees what's going on. Of course, her hat. He picks up the hat, you know, that yellow hat she was wearing, and he's looking around, and then
the phone booth.
Yes,
he rejects it.
Yes,
it's not logistically feasible.
I took it as that. I had no problem with that. Now
that's a good analogy, actually.
Yeah.
I like how he looks it up.
I think it was a very nice cool nod to Batman history, especially the '60s show. Yeah.
And I'm trying to hold on. Don't tell me, what is the exact line? Holy
rusted metal, Batman.
Holy rusted metal, Batman.
And he's like,
the metal. It's rusty and has holes in it.
Yeah,
and Batman's like,
yeah.
oh,
yeah,
okay,
yes. So yes, you take
a little on the nose, but
Look,
it shows the influence of again that show. So
and probably people would roll their eyes and groan, but think about it. Just like I brought up the Superman movie scene, it's it's a nod to Batman history, just like it was a nod to Superman history. Superman changing in a telephone booth.
Yep. Just like John Blake was a great nod to Robin. Anybody?
Yes.
Okay. So
right.
let me say this real fast, and
right.
I have to be careful here because we have to remain ambiguous for our show to
Yes.
work. But you talked about Mount Rushmore,
Yes.
and everything you said makes sense. With that said, two people you have on that would be the two things that I think have to be on everybody's top 5, and only one of those is on yours. So that's going to be a real interesting conversation, and I'm going to remember what you just said about Mount Rushmore when we have our podcast. Because, again, two things I think have to be. Both those things are represented on your Mount Rushmore, but only one of yours is in the top 5.
I would be a Mount Rushmore of, 10, because I think Michael Uslan is part of that. I think Frank Miller is part of that. Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams.
There were several. There were several.
There were some I kind of went, really? When I saw, but look, that's their opinion, and it showed a lot of what made people Batman fans. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's where
that's what it's all about, man.
I was, look, call me old, but I'm fortunate enough to have experienced a lot of that album. I got to experience. I don't remember watching it first run, but I know I did. That 60s TV show, and they started the reruns right after that. So like, when I'm 3 years old in 68, 69, 70, I mean, that's what made me a Batman fan. I mean, that's what made me a Batman fan, period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Casey Kasem's Robin it's a big deal to me.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It is.
It is, yes.
I'm not saying he's on my list, but it's a big deal to me.
He was the first voice of Robin, and he was Robin in the there's old Cooper, correct?
Oh, hold on, Cooper. Sorry. Wow.
There they go.
Not like him. Not like him to bark.
Yes, he's fired up about Batman. He hears the Batman talk.
He's fired up about Batman. All right.
You got anything?
Don't even edit this because
I'm not going to edit it.
Everybody loves dogs.
Yes.
I'm glad my cat hasn't come in meowing.
I did not edit it, so it stayed in there. All right.
And how do you get your dog to not bark? Because she's a firecracker, man. You got her behind closed doors there?
I have her, both of them, in the other part of the house where they can't get anywhere near my office right now.
Gotcha.
So.
And Cooper's not a barker. That's the first time it's ever happened on a show.
Yeah.
I like him to bark. Anyway, let's move on. All right, so let's wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
This was a good talk.
I'm
looking forward to that podcast because my wheels are turning.
I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to that Mount Rushmore, man. It's just, geez, it's hard because it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to come up with. All right, got anything to plug?
Just follow me on Twitter. Shewrick, SHEWRICK. I'll be doing some Batman on film related stuff. But yeah, if you saw Creed 2, my review is up, and we did a podcast recently for that. One of our BOF satellite shows. It's me and Ryan and Zaki Hassan at Zaki's Corner. Follow him, and it's good. It's a really good episode.
Did you go see it again yesterday like you were planning?
I saw it on Friday. Friday? No, was it Thursday? What was today? Today is
Wednesday. Monday.
I did see it Monday. It was this week. My week's jumbled up. I saw it Monday night with my buddy.
Did it move the needle either way for you, or is it about
it did. I gave it a B minus. It's moved up to a B plus because the stuff I didn't like was still there, but the stuff I loved even more. So it just helped offset it. It's not going to be an A territory for me, and that's okay. You got to keep in mind, Bill. We're talking about the 8th film.
Yeah.
This is really Rocky 8.
Yeah.
These films shouldn't be working by now. This franchise should have been dead in the mid-'80s. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's had 2 rebirths, one with Rocky Balboa, one with Creed, and it is a remarkable franchise. No matter if you like the films or not, you can't deny how amazing the franchise is in terms of its longevity. So it's really, really good. It's not nearly as good as the first one. Ryan Coogler is missed, but it's damn good. I would love for them to do one more, and I know this sounds crazy, but I think Sly should kill Rocky off in a very honorable way, but I think he should in the next one, and I'll get hate mail for that, but I just do.
Don't Rocky to have a happy ending like Bruce Wayne did in the Dark Knight trilogy?
He actually does have a really good ending in that film, but I think that
say anything.
I no, I won't, but I think, and here's why I say it. I think for Sly, he's going to always be tempted to do more because he loves the character so much. It's so obvious, and the films are good. I don't want him to run into the ground.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I want him to kill him off. And I know it sounds terrible, but if he kills him off, he's not gonna have the Justice League go dig him up and bring him back from the dead.
Put him in a vat of goo and lightning strikes and.
So I think he should do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I have never been on one of these satellite shows because it's just none of them we've done are really I'd add anything. But at some point we need to do that Smoking the Bandit one. I've always.
I think we should do a Burt Reynolds tribute show. Period.
Because one day I'll get it. We'll order up some Diablo sandwiches and Dr. Peppers, and we'll sit around and talk about Smoking the Bandit. And
I can't not talk about that man's performance in Boogie Nights.
it was great.
Freaking great, man. Yeah. And that was like if you watch like John Candy, and I know they're very different actors, but hear me out.
Yes.
If you watch John Candy and that small part he had in Oliver Stone's JFK, and then you look at Burt Reynolds and Boogie Nights, what both those actors did, even though they were very different performers, is they showed the world what they were capable of outside of what they were pigeonholed in.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to see more of that John Candy. I would like to have seen more I can't get Bruce Wayne out of my head. We were just talking about him, Smokey and the Bandit. Burt Reynolds. I wanted to see more of that, and he was supposed to be in the Tarantino film, right? He was supposed to do he had a film that he was supposed to do. Was it a Scorsese film or a Tarantino film? He never shot anything, but he was cast, so that sucks. So yeah, so satellite show on Burt Reynolds is my point. And I said we're going to do a Back to the Future show as well. We've got to get to that because that's fun. I've got 5 million people that want to be on that show, because that's another great franchise.
All right.
Indiana Jones, it's endless.
How about Star Wars? Think we can do a Star Wars one?
I think I could conjure up a Star Wars episode.
All right. Follow me on Twitter at Batman on Film, and that's all I got. So for Rick, I'm Bill. Batman on Film, authoritative, definitive,
and the dadgum original.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys. Hook 'em horns.
Yes. Go Cowboys.